Welcome back to all of you. So in our sessions we have seen and we have tried to digest what is communication, what are the characteristics of communications, what are the significance of communication, the purpose of communication, role of communications in management, how communication can differ from organization to organization, what are the principles of effective communications, what are the models of communications, where we have also understood there are three models: interactive model, transactional model, linear model as well. And we have also tried to understand what is the scope of communication in management. So having discussed about communication in detail, now we have come to the last part of communication, that is cross-culture communication. So, having understood the importance of communication, having understood the role of communication in business, having accepted that business has diverged itself in different forms and has evolved, and today we find business in global level, how was it possible for the companies to venture out to different states, not just to different states but also to different countries? That is what we are going to understand in this session. Cross-cultural communication. As long as we do not understand and appreciate the culture of others, it is not possible for us to venture on other countries. As long as we do not appreciate the culture of others, as a business unit, we will not be able to to the other countries as well. If at all, if the countries have been able to have the foreign companies' existence, all that is possible because having understood the legitimacy of cross-cultural communication. So what is that then? Let us understand. It refers to the interaction between people who have differences in style of working, age, race, nationality, ethnicity, gender, etc. Yes, exactly. We in India, we have so many states, isn't it? We have diversity of culture, different languages, different lifestyles, different eating habits, consuming habits. Is it easier for the companies to understand all this? It has to be. They have to make an effort. Only then they will be able to sustain and flourish. This is exactly what all the companies did. We today don't just find a standalone companies, we find a consolidated companies because they all have global presence. Now with this, what is the importance of cross-culture communications? Due to the globalization era, this has led to understanding the culture of other countries. Harmony in the workplace depends on understanding the cultural differences of the employees. A good working atmosphere can be created in the organizations when a harmony is maintained, when there is an universal language to communicate. Isn't it? Why? Because people come with different mindset, different background, different cultures, different values, different perceptions. So a harmony has to be maintained with a proper communication, and this will enrich the business to have a global presence. So it also refers, a cross-culture communication also refers to interaction between people, right, with different mindsets, attitudes, styles and all that. It also recognizes the differences among business people of different nations, backgrounds, their ethnicities and importance of bridging them. Effective cross-cultural communication is about all parties feeling comfortable in any conversation with a non-native English speaker. Treat them with respect, do your best to communicate clearly and give them encouragement when they respond. This will help build their confidence and trust in you. This reminds me of an example to quote here. Pepsi and Coca-Cola, Coke. These are all the foreign companies. When they entered Indian segment, they came out with 1 liter bottle. But later they understood that the consumers don't want to consume such a big bottle, and they all prefer a small bottles, and that's where they were able to change. Along with the 1 liter bottle, today we find tins, small bottles as well. Same is another example I am reminded of to quote here again. The McDonald's, Domino's, Pizza Huts, we all have this retail eating junks across our cities. But have you ever found any of these outlets selling their eateries using beef or pork? No, na? Why is that? That's because these outlets have understood the Indian sentiments, Indians' emotions, and that's the reason they don't use this. Few more examples. White attire, we use it for funeral. There are countries where they use the same white attire for wedding. Just imagine, different countries have different way of perceiving things in different forms. What we perceive might not be perceived in the same mindset, isn't it? Having taught this subject for so many years, I keep advice, because I have also understood that sitting with the crossed feet enhances your confidence level, gives a better transformation in your personality. So I happen to advise the students, sit with your crossed feet, and they tend to tell me, Madam, this is not the Indian culture. We are been taught not to sit with the crossed feet in front of elders. Saying no to anybody is considered as not a good approach. But if you say yes to everyone, you become a people pleaser. So you have to be aware of it also. Where to say no and where to say yes. Door-to-door selling. We see and experience it in our day-to-day life, isn't it? Any salesman or a woman approaches our doorstep, we wholeheartedly, seeing their luggages, wholeheartedly we accept them, we invite them inside. Not just we entertain them, but we also have a tendency to offer them some water, if not a juice. But the same door-to-door campaign is not well appreciated and accepted in the Middle East or the other parts of the world. So different countries have got different culture, and that's where the challenge lies for every businessman to understand the temperament of the culture of the different countries before venturing into the other countries. So here I just thought of taking you all through a short journey of MTR. Today they have excelled beyond 1,000 crores. So how was it possible for this MTR company and still have a global presence with the same brand name? So a short clippage I have taken from a YouTube, which I want you people to see that and understand what does cross-culture communication mean. So I have taken these resources from the YouTube. So kindly just see this and understand what I have explained.
1921లో కర్ణాటకలో ఉన్న ఉడిపి అనే ప్లేస్ లో ముగ్గురు అన్నదమ్ములు ఉండేవారు. వాళ్ళే పరమేశ్వరమయ్య, గణపయ్యమయ్య అండ్ యజ్ఞ నారాయణమయ్య. వీళ్ళ ముగ్గురు కూడా పెద్దవాళ్ళు అయ్యాక వాళ్ళ తల్లిదండ్రుల మీద ఆధారపడకుండా కుటుంబ బాధ్యతలు తీసుకోవాలని డిసైడ్ అయ్యి పని కోసమని బెంగళూరు వెళ్లారు. అయితే ఇక్కడ మీరు గుర్తుపెట్టుకోవాల్సిన విషయం ఏంటంటే 1920 టైంకి ఇంకా మనమంతా బ్రిటిషర్స్ కంట్రోల్లోనే ఉన్నాం. స్వతంత్రం కోసం పోరాడుతూ దేశమంతా అల్లకల్లోలంగా ఉండేది. అప్పటి భారతీయులకి పెద్దగా చదువు కానీ స్కిల్స్ కానీ ఉండేవి కాదు. అలాంటి టైంలో ఇంటి నుండి బయటికి వెళ్ళిన ఈ ముగ్గురు అన్నదమ్ములకి తెలిసిన ఒకే ఒక్క పని వంట చేయడం. సో బెంగళూరులో ఉన్న కొంతమంది ధనవంతులు అలాగే భూస్వాముల ఇళ్లలో వంట పని చేసుకుంటూ ఈ ముగ్గురు అన్నదమ్ములు కొంత డబ్బు సంపాదించుకున్నారు. ఈ ముగ్గురు అన్నదమ్ముల్లో పెద్దవాడైన పరమేశ్వరం అయ్యాకి తన యజమాని సపోర్ట్ చేసి ఒక చిన్న హోటల్ పెట్టుకోమని సజెస్ట్ చేశారు. సో పరమేశ్వరం అయ్య తన పెద్ద తమ్ముడైన గణపయ్యతో కలిసి ఒక టిఫిన్ సెంటర్ స్టార్ట్ చేశారు. అదే బ్రాహ్మిన్ కాఫీ క్లబ్. ఇక్కడ ఇడ్లీ, దోశ, కాఫీ అండ్ టీ లాంటి సౌత్ ఇండియన్ టిఫిన్స్ ని సర్వ్ చేసేవారు. పరమేశ్వరం అయ్య చనిపోయాక ఈ బిజినెస్ లోకి చివరివాడైన యజ్ఞ నారాయణమయ్య అడుగుపెట్టారు. అయితే ఈ రోజు మనమంతా చూస్తున్న ఎన్టీఆర్ అనే కంపెనీ రావడానికి కారణం ఈయనే. ఎలాగో చెప్తా చూడండి. యజ్ఞ నారాయణమయ్య ఈ బిజినెస్ లోకి ఎంటర్ అయ్యాక ఫస్ట్ ఆఫ్ ఆల్ దీని పేరు మార్చారు. బ్రాహ్మిన్ కాఫీ క్లబ్ అనే పేరు.
So having seen this clipping, I presume that you would have understood what I was trying to convey. Now what I was trying to convey from this clipping is this MTR. This was started from 1920 by three brothers from Udupi. So 1920 these three brothers left Udupi for their living. They came to Bangalore. They set up because they were good in cooking. So only thing that they could think of, was starting some kind of a eatery. So they came out with dosa for their living. Since then, they were able to expand, but one uniqueness what you can see here is when they started working on this aspect, now they have set up their restaurants also. One uniqueness in the restaurant is they allow the customers to pass through the kitchen to the dining area. They want the customers to pass through. If they have to go to the dining area, every customer have to go to the dining area through the kitchen. Why is that? They want the customers to feel satisfied looking into the hygiene, the cleanliness, the discipline, the quality what they are ensuring, so that the customers are satisfied eating there. Not just that, they have taken care of their employees so well, and they have expanded not just within India, but today they have conquered the nook and corners of the world under the same brand name MTR. Without changing the brand name, they have been able to reach to the other countries. How has it been possible? They know their vision very clearly. They know what the mission they want to achieve. They have not diverted from the mission. Holding on to their goals, they have been able to venture out to the foreign countries with the same brand name MTR. And that is how the company is able to have across the 1,000 crore turnover today. So understanding the market is very essential to communicate what your product or services are. Feeling the pulse of the other countries is very essential to sell your product or services. This is what cross-cultural communication is all about. How to effectively communicate across culture? To understand the culture, you ought to listen carefully, effectively communicate in the native language, avoid any kind of a misunderstanding, ambiguity if you come across, and most importantly is learn to accept, acknowledge the differences and respect the differences of others, and don't be judgmental. Clear? Now, Making effective communication in cross-cultural setting requires these elements. Maintaining similarity. When you are thinking of moving out to any other parts of the world, try to maintain similarity or try to attain the common similar understanding. So once you reach that point, then that is a point where you can venture out your business, establish your business. Emphasize on the description. Ask for more clarity, understand. Try to know what they are expecting, how their culture is. Be empathetic. Try to stand in the shoes of the others and see how things can be perceived if you are going to sell this in their country or in their state or in the neighboring places. Work with hypothesis. Don't be judgmental. Don't give way for any kind of ambiguity. Be clear. Be patient as well. You got to have a lot of patience to understand the other market temperament. If not, then it is very difficult. You might not be able to flourish your business. You enter the wrong market with the wrong notion, we might have to close down our business as well. There are many instances like that. So be patient, calm. Establish the rules. Set a rule. As I was telling in some of the earlier slide, what is the right time to call anybody? It is not the night. It is not the early morning. It would be apt to call anybody, reach out anybody before 10 to 1. How to attend to respond to the emails of anybody. Have some ground rules. How to welcome the people. How to appreciate. How to talk. Ask questions. If you have any doubts, be open-minded. Do not hesitate. Sitting with negativity leads to frustrations. So ask anything if you want the clarity from the other party when you are moving out with your business with the other countries. Respect the individual. Yes, it is very essential. We have spoken enough on it. Sometimes, more than spoken words, written words would give more clarity to the people because of the language barriers. So, written words can help you out. Time is, we should always appreciate the time of others. Time is money. Time sense has to be there. Learn to respect the time. Most of the time, an insecure boss fails to understand the personal time of the employee. When it is the time for the employee to wind up from the organization, he or she will be called back to do some important work. Learn to respect the time. Humor. A joke to me might not be a joke to you. It might be an insult, isn't it? So when you create a joke, be sensible enough. Always check, recheck. Yes, so that mistakes can be avoided or minimized, because entering into any other country requires a proper planning, preparedness, so that we avoid any kind of ambiguity. So always check, be positive, be assertive. That is another element for communication in cross culture. At the same time, have a self-respect. You don't have to compromise with your self-respect if it is going beyond. So these elements has to be borne in mind to have a good communication in a cross-culture setting. So with all this, we have come to the end of this module, wherein we have seen today how communication should happen in a cross-cultural setting, how we can how we can work on it so that we can venture out to the other countries to have a global presence, is what with the help of a small case of MTR. So thank you all.